I've been getting stuck into some family history research during the COVID lockdown. I've spent some time having a look at what my ancestors were facing back in 1919 during the Spanish flu pandemic. What was life like then? Well, schools, libraries, theatres, public halls, factories, hotels, places of entertainment were all closed. People were compelled to wear masks, and public transport was restricted. Cough etiquette, hand washing, disinfection and ventilation were encouraged. And the state governments were wrangling over state border closures. Much like today, really. But there were some differences. World War I was over and the surviving troops were coming home. But the victory parades had been cancelled. By January 1919, the pandemic had reached Australia. The returning troops were quarantined in makeshift camps while their families coped with the ever-increasing menace of the illness. I try to imagine what it was like to be a mum back then. At home, waiting for her husband to return from the war, maybe fighting illness herself, and at the same time caring for a family of several children. She wouldn't have had a washing machine. She probably had an ice chest, but she certainly wouldn't have had an indoor flushable sewered toilet. She probably cooked on a wood stove and maybe grew her own vegetables. Possibly the only hot water would have come from a kettle heated over an open fire or from a copper in the laundry. And for many households, a radio was an undreamt of luxury. So communication would have been pretty limited. And there were certainly no television sets or computers to keep the children occupied. There was no unemployment or family benefits, no medical or pharmaceutical benefits, and no stimulus packages. Government support was confined to the distribution of clothing, blankets, food, and some rent relief. The hospitals were overwhelmed, and there was a shortage of doctors because of the war. In any case, most people preferred to rely on home remedies or the advice of quacks who were only too happy to peddle their dubious cures. Back in 1919, the population of Australia was a little over 5 million, about the same as Melbourne today. And almost 40% of that population was infected by the virus, and 12,000 to 15,000 people died, most of them working age. What would we be thinking today if 2 million Melburnians were infected by coronavirus? Can we even imagine 15,000 deaths in Melbourne alone? I'm going to continue with the family research, but I'll keep reminding myself that it's far better to be in lockdown in 2020 than to be living in 1919 with my parents and grandparents. But they got through it. And so will we.